Something I can certainly recommend is to document yourself throughout this process. In any form is good, but specifically this video format that's available to us nowadays is interesting. I find myself rewatching my videos, and it's really helpful and interesting because, and this is not the exclusive reason, it's just a grammatical convention for me to string this onto what I said before. Because in a way, no one knows yourself better than you do. And seeing yourself go through this process and just hearing your own formulations of an insight that you might have had, seeing your own face going into a place and directing its energy onto insights of this nature, and just seeing yourself, hearing yourself, being in that place is interesting and insightful and has its own flavor that doesn't replace seeing other people, hearing other people, reading other people, speaking to people. That's not what the point is. But it has something that none of those other things can have because it's just you. And it's really cool to have. And for me also, the idea of making it public actually is not only, as I've mentioned in another video, is not only well, I had no reason to not make it public, so I did. It's not only that, it's also something that was really outside of my comfort zone. To put myself out there and be so vulnerable and to not be, especially because I'm also a performer, to not be showing people something that I prepared and that has been crafted, but exactly, well, not the opposite, but it's just me alone. I'm just here talking about the most personal experience and process that has ever come unto this me. So it's just one way of going about experimenting with the question, oh, that's something I usually wouldn't do. It makes me uncomfortable. So let's do it. Let's try. You should try to be playful about it. And so I think that this format of having a YouTube channel and putting videos of yourself out talking about this, it's a category of thing that is easily accessible and easily available to most of us, that also is probably uncomfortable and unusual for most of us. Because obviously there's a fraction of people who are YouTubers or otherwise not unfamiliar with the idea of having interviews or stuff like that out on the internet. But most people who have access to YouTube are not making videos themselves, at least not of their faces and just talking about their personal experience. So this specifically is really something that I found definitely worthwhile as an investigation. And the thing is, you can just stop if it's not interesting to you. You don't have to do anything. And suggesting using an example to suggest doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. This having a very specific flavor that I find worthwhile investigating. And also for someone who has, and most of us have this if we're really looking, everyone in the mind living inside this dualistic realm has that, because it's a part of the characteristic of the dualistic realm, to people please, and to want reactions from people, and to want positive feedback, and to want all those things in the currency of the mind that mean something in that realm. And having a YouTube channel and having access to actual stats, it gives you great opportunity to learn something about your impulses, and to just have an outlet where actual manifestation of your finger tapping on your phone, YouTube Studio or whatever, looking at views or something like that. It's an actual physical manifestation, not just a thought that can be more easily overlooked, of you caring about what other people think. And so this has also just been a cool inquiry for me. And it's something that no one else can give me, the insight into this. It's something that can only happen from me putting myself out there like this, and then giving myself the opportunity to manifest caring about what other people think in that particular way, which happens to just be very observable. And I don't think that's something that would only apply to me. And that's why this has been really interesting and cool, because caring about what other people think wasn't just or don't think. I mean, there's not a lot of people watching this stuff, and they don't have to. And I'm just, anyone who is interested in this, cool. Like, I'm glad if it can do anything for you. But so just caring what other people think, caring about what other people think, not just be a fleeting thought, a recurrent and frequent, but still intangible thought, kind of. It's actually observing your own impulses to open the tab, open the app. It's cool. And one sentence that I really like, that has helped me a lot, or been a good reminder throughout all of this year and even a bit before that. And it's a sentence that just keeps giving. And I keep noticing, like, yes, it's a cool thing to orient myself toward, or to keep in mind, is if you want something to happen that has never happened, you have to do something you've never done. If you want something to happen that has never happened, you have to do something you have never done. It's one of those very profound, simple truths. And if you start trying to actually implement that, you'll notice how much you're doing that is not something new. And it's not surprising that something doesn't change. And this is something that is not tied to non-duality. It's just like a helpful tool for anyone trying to just get by in life. And you can use it everywhere. Your communication, in your relationships, your success with your endeavors. If you keep hitting a wall and something keeps not working out in a way, then really trying something new on levels that you're probably not expecting. That's also a big thing about this. A lot of times we think we're trying something new, but actually we're not. Little example, you're trying to get someone to do something which is already flawed in and of itself. But let's say you're just trying to talk to someone and you're trying to get something from them, a person that you're in a relationship, in a regular relationship with, and then you try different words and think that you're doing something different, but you're not getting any different results. The person is still resisting, or something like that. It's not gelling. Just a little example that is very common would be that though you're using different words, your position hasn't changed. For example, instead of making a request, you're still making a demand, though you are phrasing it differently. There are all of these other levels of communication that are equally as important, or I would say actually much more important than the words being said, about your posture, about your tone, about the body that you're bringing into this interaction with its vibrations and tensions, things that you can't be aware of because it's too much information for your mind to ever grasp, and something that the other person is also not going to be aware of, but that other person's subconscious body, or like body consciousness that they can't access with the mind, is aware of yours that you can't access with the mind. And that's a whole other communication happening on this other level that has nothing to do with the words the two little people are spewing at each other. And that's just a good, quick little example of something where you're not actually doing anything differently, and that's why nothing different is happening. So, putting out videos talking about this process and being very vulnerable is not something I have ever done, and I'm doing now, and it is making things happen that have never happened, which is something that generally I would always hope to orient myself towards in my life, because that's the inevitable truth anyways. Everything is changing, and no moment is ever the same as another moment. So the more one can acknowledge that and live from a place of peace with that realization, the more in alignment you are with the flow of the cosmos, with the way that it's happening. And dissolve your little you into that, or let it remain what it is and not think that it is more. And have access to the other realm that is not dualistic, because it's not all there is. It would be really sad if it were. There is no love there, no true love, no true agapic love. But it does exist, and it is available. It's ever present. It's always there. It's always been there. Nothing could ever destroy it. Just little you will have to go through some pretty crazy stuff, the end of its world, to get there. But everyone who is interested in this already knows that that's worth it, and then that's what they're going to do.